Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Shifts in Pucks News Pack for Wednesday, March 23rd. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. As we're doing a news pack today. A little later on today, about 3 Pacific, 4 o'clock Mountain, we will be live with Sportsnet 960's Ryan Pinder, Devin, Sean, and myself chatting about the Flames, as of course what they did at the trade deadline, the expectations heading into the playoffs. We probably will talk about his hair and a bunch of other things. So join us for that conversation as we focus on the Flames. The Flames, of course, lost 4-3 to San Jose Sharks last night. They did not skate today. They will be back in practice tomorrow, and then a back-to-back against the Arizona Coyotes and the Edmonton Oilers this weekend. So we'll get into that. We'll also remind you, of course, about the word of the week, which will be on today's podcast and the as well as on Monday's podcast as well. Opportunity to win the tickets to the game of the Vancouver Canucks and Calgary Flames on April 23rd at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Hanging out with Sean, Chris, and Devin. Tickets to the game, hanging out, all kinds of good things. You can smack Devin, drink some beer. Smack Talk Sean, drink some beer. Smack Talk Chris, drink some beer. Or do whatever you want. But that will be a fun time there. There are 4 games in the NHL tonight, and one of them is the Vancouver Canucks. They are taking on the Colorado Avalanche tonight in Denver. Of course, Colorado, has the best record in the National Hockey League at 95 points, 45-13-5. They've won 4 in a row. They have lost 3 games in regulation all season at home. So not an easy matchup for the Vancouver Canucks. We all know that. Yaroslav Halak has been confirmed to get the start tonight. Of course, he played the 3rd period against the Calgary Flames Vancouver Canucks game. And then Halak getting the start tonight. It looks like the lines for the Canucks, Miller, Pearson and Garland, Horvat, Pedersen, Besser, Brad Richardson will make his debut with Lamico and Highmore. Patan, Podkolzin, and Chason are the forward lines at this point. And looking right now, and Kyle Burrows is on the Kyle Burrows joins the group in a non-contact sweater there. Just looking and seeing if we see the defense, it's probably the same that it's always has been. So, but Halak getting the start and goal. The Canucks, of course, come into this game. If you are an optimist, just 5 points out of a playoff spot. They have lost 3 in a row, 30, 26, and 8 with 68 points, 5 points behind the Dallas Stars. So we had our Canucks podcast on Monday where we recapped the Flames or the Canucks trade deadline. We also did that with the Flames on Monday as well. So should be an interesting game. There are 3 other games in the National Hockey League today. The New Jersey Devils, fresh off beating the playing in the New York Rangers yesterday, and are playing Mark Giordano and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Giordano and Colin Blackwell will be making their debut. The Devils coming off a 7-4 victory over the Leafs on Monday. So Peter Mrazek's expected to get the call. Of course, he was on waivers in Toronto, so Mrazek's expected to get the call again for the Leafs in goal. The Devils, of course, are one of those teams in the Eastern Conference that's well out at 51 points. The Leafs are in the process here of 83 points, 39, 18, and 5, 1 point behind the Tampa Bay Lightning for second place in the Atlantic Division. Of course, yesterday one of the games of the day were the Lightning and the Hurricanes beat the Lightning 3-2 in that game. And so that keeps the Leafs have a possibility, if they beat the Devils today, to move into second place. We also have the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Penguins, of course, are in second place at 87 points, 39, 16, and 9 in the Metropolitan Division. They've actually won 3 in a row. And they beat the Columbus Blue Jackets yesterday 5-1. The Buffalo Sabres coming off a 3-2 overtime victory over the Vancouver Canucks as part of that Western road trip that they were on. So, but of course, well out of that playoff spot. And also the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks fading away from the playoffs 27-27-11. They've lost 7 in a row. The Blackhawks have lost 3 in a row. So those are the 4 games in the National Hockey League today there as well. To update you, is see no news or movement yet on the well, it looks like actually the NHL is in the process of voting an Evgeny Dadonov trade. That is from Frank Saravelli. The expectation of the official word to come out today. Saravelli saying it's been a complicated layer process with many parties involved. Now, the interesting thing about this is you can still make a trade. The trade deadline, you can still make a trade after the trade deadline. However, the player that you acquire cannot play. So some have speculated that Dadonov could be traded to the Arizona Coyotes to free up that cap space, and the Coyotes do have cap space. But again, it comes down if Coyotes are on Dadonov's no trade list. Anaheim was. That's the whole complication. And here, so that trade being nullified. The Golden Knights need to move Dadonov or here to open salary to get some of the players that are possibly available for LTIR off on that roster. It's not a guarantee that any of them could be back sooner rather or later. And it looks like so Alec Martinez, Mark Stone as an example. I mean, they're not sure when they are back, but they certainly need to be back sooner rather than later. And then Vegas will need them if they're going to make either A, get into the playoffs, or B, or play in the playoffs, or B, get into the playoffs at all. They've lost 7 of the last 10. They're at 72 points. They are 1 point behind Dallas, and Dallas has 4 games in hand. So it's not even a guarantee that the Vegas Golden Knights are even going to make the playoffs at this particular point in time. It's interesting. It's interesting to see what will happen here in terms of that part of it. So, looking like that trade, the Dadonov trade at this point has been voided at this particular point in time. In terms of other injury news to touch on, Patrice Bergeron could be back against the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's missed 3 games with elbow infection, so he could be back. And that's significant there as well. The other game today, though, there's another game of significance in the CHL. It is the Prospects game, and there are 15 players in the WHL from the WHL in on that list. Of course, Matthew Savoie was finished first overall in on ice testing. So we there. That's significant. He's going to be a high draft pick in next year's draft, obviously. Prince George Cougars netminder Tyler Brennan is the top ranked goaltender. He's finished first overall among the 4 goaltenders. So Chiefs netminder Mason Beaupit is currently out on top in 3 categories as well. So reaction drill with current Broncos forward Josh Philman finished first overall. As that game is on tonight, 6 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock Pacific. The overall skaters, Savoie, Denton Matachuk, and Reed Schaefer. 30 meters, Matthew Savoie, Reed Schaefer, Connor Geekie. 30 meters forward with the puck, Matthew Savoie, Denton Matachuk, and Reed Schaefer. Backward skating, Kevin Krasinski and Jordan Gustafson of the Seattle Thunderbirds, Matt Lindgren of the Kamloops Blazers. Backwards with puck skating, Matt Slingerland, Kevin Krasinski, Reed Schaefer. Weave agility, Denton Matachek, Matthew Savoie, and Matt Lindgren. Weave agility with the puck, Matthew Savoie leading that. Transition agility, Matthew Savoie leading that. Transition agility with the puck, Denton Matachek as well. And so some good things going on there. So watch that Prospects game. It's interesting. It's an opportunity, of course, to have a look at the prospects in a spotlight way. I personally wish that there was more opportunities to see these players on a higher level, but that's a topic for another day. By the way, 2 games in the WHL today. We've got we've got going on here. We've got the Winnipeg Ice taking on the Saskatoon Blades, and the Kamloops Blazers taking on the Victoria Royals. The Royals knocked off the Blades. It's the Kelowna Rockets taking on the Victoria Royals. My apologies. The Royals knocked off the Rockets yesterday in that game. So that is the news for the day. Again, you can follow us all individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canucks 03 on Twitter, Devin Gordhow09, Tyler TNOBLE, Christian Schneids SCHNAIDZ. I am KEVOLE. Shifts and Pucks on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Networks. Reminder again to check out our podcast and our interview live today with Ryan Pinder from Sportsnet 960 Talking Flames. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.